This podcast is part of Mishmash Media. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Welcome to another episode of Curbcast. My name is Ivan.
And I'm Stephen.
And every week we get every episode. Well, not every week, every episode. That would take, that'll probably be like a 30-hour podcast.
And we would just do it once, release one episode, and that's it.
Game over. And
Game over.
You just listen to it bit by bit as you go along.
Yeah.
No, what I mean is every week we review an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm scene by scene. And we are doing Season 4, Episode 4, The Weatherman. And we're almost halfway there, my dude.
Yes, we are. Season 4 has been a bit of a mixed bag for me so far.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this episode and the next episode, which we'll be recording straight after this and will be released next week, really, really strong. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
And I love how the season's turning out. I think it's on more solid ground now.
I feel like it is as well. Yeah, no, definitely the foundations were set in the first couple of seasons, and Season 3 got better, and then Season 4 is really taking it home. And apparently it just gets better from here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great.
Kind of like Seinfeld, Season 1, 2, and 3 are great, but they do have a few misses. But from Season 4 onwards, maybe up until about Season 8, every episode is basically a banger.
Yeah. Pretty much everyone is a hit. It knocks it out of the park. Everyone's like a home run.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's see. Hopefully, with Curb Your Enthusiasm, we haven't watched up until the 5 would, so next week's episode. So we're watching these fresh as we go along.
That's right.
Yeah.
Before we get stuck into the episode, just want to make mention, we have an email address, curbcastpod@gmail.com. We have some social media as well. Curbcastpod is our handle on that. We have, on those, I should say, not on that. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit. And we do have a Curb Your Enthusiasm Facebook group called Curb Your Enthusiasms. I'm not going to explain why it's called that because it's too long-winded and you probably won't care, but check out the link in the show notes if you want to join that.
Absolutely.
On Facebook.
Very good. Anyway, we're going into The Weatherman. We're talking about that episode. This one aired in America on January 25th, 2004. Larry questions a weatherman's ability to manipulate the media so he can have the country club to himself. And that's Larry. In this one, he's a real conspiracy theorist, isn't he? He's just questioning everything.
Yeah. This episode and the next episode, the 5 Iron, I'll probably mention them.
The 5 would.
Sorry, the 5 would. I'll probably mention them sort of in tandem because they feel like almost like one long episode chopped in half.
Sort of, yes.
They feed right into each other. But I just noticed across these 2 episodes that Larry's level of paranoia has gone up a level. Mm-hmm. It's more than we've previously seen him paranoid, but a lot of the time in the past, his paranoia there is some truth to it.
Yes.
It seems kind of rational in a way. Like, it's not just totally out of left field. But this one, the fact that a weatherman is lying to millions of people just so he can play an easier game of golf, that's wacky. Absolutely
wacky and outlandish. And speaking of which, you did say it is almost like a 2-parter. This is the first episode to feature Larry's constant foil, Marty Funkhauser.
Yeah.
Yep. And also, we see, I think his cousin is the dentist, and his father, Mr. Funkhauser, who passes away in the next episode.
That's right.
Of the good Hodgkins.
The good Hodgkins.
The good Hodgkins.
There is no good Hodgkins.
No, there isn't. Definitely.
It's better, though.
Yeah, it's better, though. More curable, yes. In scene 1, Larry is at the dentist as the dental hygienist is close to him, and he's prepping him, and Larry's, licking his lips because he's got to get something in there, and she seems pretty aroused by that, and we find out later on.
Yeah, I couldn't tell whether she was turned on by the lip licking or whether she was just turned on by Larry anyway. Mm-hmm. Maybe that lip licking was just a little cherry on top, but she's very into him.
Yeah, very, yeah.
From the get-go.
And she tries to ask him out on a date, I think, episode.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, as soon as she was staring at him, and you knew that she was into him, I thought, well, this will obviously play into the Larry trying to have sex before his and Cheryl's 10-year anniversary. This is an opportunity for him to potentially do that.
This will be the chance. Maybe he struggled with Katie.
Yep.
And the other woman at the bar, but she's probably it.
Yeah, he doesn't have to go up to a bar up to a woman at a bar and chat to her to a point where she walks away. Mm-hmm. This lady's coming to him.
Yeah, there's no bowling talk.
There's less of a chance of him fucking it up.
There's no bowling talk here.
No.
I don't have to do that kind of stuff. The dentist, Dr. Funkhauser, says that they need to take a picture of Larry's mouth for insurance purposes because Larry lost a crown. He says he lost a crown to his dentist and he's got to get that fixed. He thanks Larry for RSVPing for his Uncle Leo's testimonial, and I love the reference to Seinfeld. Hello, Uncle Leo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't pick that up.
That's Mr. Funkhauser. Leo Funkhauser.
Didn't pick that up.
Hello. Yeah, so like I said, the dentist is Marty's cousin.
Yes, that's right.
That's right. The dentist offers Larry a local injection as he doesn't want to use gas for the procedure. Larry says that he may lose elasticity from his sweater. because he's got to roll up his arm to give him the jab.
Yeah, he's got like a long sleeve sweater on,
Yep.
and I mean, I understand that. I wear a lot of long sleeve t-shirts because the weather here in Melbourne can be a bit unpredictable.
Very.
So, but sometimes it can be too warm for a hoodie. So a long sleeve t-shirt is a nice middle ground. But if it gets a bit warm, I roll it up or scrunch it up. And then later in the day, if I put it back down, it's a bit loose. So I get it.
You understand. And
Yeah.
Larry's very particular with his clothing, of course. And Larry says he may lose elasticity from his sweater. The dentist says that they're elastic cuffs, as the dentist quickly rolls up Larry's sleeve. He's doing that, and a receptionist gets the dentist to go into the reception area because he has a hysteric patient to attend to on the phone. Larry says that his sweater is ruined. He asks the assistant what's wrong with him. He says, because Dr. Funkhauser is, being a bit funny, Larry says. Like, he's not
He just seems a bit
himself.
agitated or just almost overwhelmed. Like when that phone call comes in, he kind of goes off and Larry goes, "It's enough." And he kind of walks out. There's something bothering him.
There's something bothering him, yeah. The assistant says that his uncle has Hodgkin's, and Larry says, it's the good Hodgkin's, right?
As soon as he said the good Hodgkin's, I'm like, this is going to be something that Larry insists is okay to say or do throughout the episode, and everyone else is going to be offended. Like, what do you mean by good Hodgkin's? It's fucking cancer. Like, what are you talking about?
No, it's all fucked. But
Yeah.
I think what he means is because I did a bit of research on Hodgkin's lymphoma, and apparently there's Hodgkin's and there's non-Hodgkin's, which has been referenced in another episode. But Hodgkin's is more curable.
Yeah.
I think with like chemo and radiation, it's very likely you'll get cured. Whereas non-Hodgkin's, it's not as curable.
Right.
I think that's the understanding of it. So that's probably why Larry, he probably watched like a documentary about Hodgkin's, and then they said, Hodgkin's is more curable. And he goes, and he associates curable with good.
Well, they mention in the next episode that his source for good Hodgkin's is Party of Five.
Oh, Party 5, that's
Yeah,
right. Yes,
yeah,
he
yeah.
does mention that at the end.
Yeah,
Yes.
so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, technically he
Of course,
is
yes.
correct in that there is a better version of Hodgkin's if you're going to get something like that. But
But Hodgkin's is still fucked.
yeah, it's like you've got two versions of horrible. If one's slightly less horrible, that's not the same as saying it's good.
No,
You know?
It's a very bad,
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Larry comes home as his father is eating at the dining table. He asks his dad to put the seat down after going to the bathroom. As Larry, we find out that he likes sitting to pee at night. So Larry, he likes to go in the dark and just wants to sit down and take a piss. Sit down and take a piss.
Yeah, and his father's very bothered. He thinks it's very unmasculine.
Unmasculine. Yeah, no, she's like, you got to stand up when you pee.
Yeah, and he says, "Are you pussy whipped or something like that?"
Pussy whip.
Yeah, definitely. He sounds like he's from his generation. Like,
Yeah.
that's how we would have spoke or thought back in the day.
The working class generation.
Yeah.
Whatever you call them. Cheryl comes down the stairs saying that Marty Funkhauser will be there as well as Ted and Mary for the testimonial. Larry shows Cheryl his elastic on his shirt.
Yeah, and I honestly thought when Larry was showing her the elastic, I thought that Cheryl would be a bit more dismissive. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
You've got a million shirts, or the elasticity will return. But she seems as concerned as him.
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
as upset as him, which is something you don't see often. That Larry brings up this relatively small problem, and Cheryl's actually on board with it.
Do you think Cheryl's just accommodating to Larry just to make him feel better,
She
or
could
she
just
actually
be-
genuinely cares?
Yeah, she could just be placating him or humoring him just so that it shuts him up.
Yeah, I
and he
think so.
doesn't just go off on a rant about why it's important.
That's what I was thinking as
Yeah,
well. I
no,
think
that's-
it was just,
Yeah, she knows how to keep Larry happy without actually sort of being on his side.
Yeah. She's got that knack. But sometimes she shows off, she disagrees with Larry more often.
Totally.
than not.
Yeah, if it's usually over a bigger situation that has more stakes or consequences, she'll be honest. But if it's something as silly as a sleeve not being as elastic as it was, she's just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
You're upset. The world's crumbling around you.
Yeah,
Larry.
yeah. Just, pat on the back. It's all good.
It's all good, man.
Before we go down to the next scene, I was a bit confused. Like, as I was watching the episode, I wasn't confused. But after we watched it, I couldn't figure out why they just inserted Larry's father into the scene. Like, there was no payoff. I don't remember him being in the last episode. Like, he's just at the house eating. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, like, I like him and I liked the scene. But it just sort of he was just there.
He was probably just visiting, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Larry's mother died the season before.
Yeah.
So maybe, he's just been lonely. He's been more lonely, and maybe
True.
Larry's dad just comes over.
Yeah, like it wasn't a big thing. It didn't derail the episode or cause much confusion. It was just odd because normally, like last week when Stuart was visiting, he's Cheryl's cousin and he played into the episode storyline being a magician and stuff like that.
Supposed magician.
Supposed magician, But Larry's dad was just here to give him shit about sitting down to pee.
That was probably why he was written in. They were probably needed someone to kind of pussify Larry.
True.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah, like an older guy
Yeah.
who has, more firm ideas about what men should and shouldn't
Yeah.
do.
He just, in the
that's
old
true.
days, they used to piss on electric fences.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't be a pussy.
Yeah.
Shh. Just get it out.
Exactly.
Piss wherever. Even though there's live wires. Who gives a shit? Only men do that.
Yeah. You're not a man unless you electrocute your dick.
That's right, unless your dick just pops off.
Yeah. Just get another one.
Just get another one, pussy. Go out there and get a job and afford another one. Later that evening, the Davids are on the way to the dinner party. They're going to the Greens for dinner. Cheryl is looking through mail as she finds a dental bill for Larry, which has the image of his tooth, and she is horrified at the look of it. She's like, "Why do you have this picture for?" And Larry's like, "It's for insurance."
Yeah, I thought that Cheryl was, I mean, I'm sure it's you never see the picture, which is kind of the point. It reminds me of like the Bubble Boy in Seinfeld. The fact that it's unseen makes it more funny.
Yeah.
Because you use your imagination to imagine how gross it is. But yeah, I just thought her reaction was a bit like, I don't know, like a bit over the top.
It must have been pretty disgusting though, because everyone else reacts to it in the same way too.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just odd. Like, maybe because I don't get too bothered by seeing gross things. Like, I'm not having fun, but I'm not going to like shriek in the car and potentially cause an accident. I'll just be like, ugh. So yeah, it was, I don't know. I just didn't expect her to react so much.
It must have looked pretty rank though, because I mean, he lost a crown.
Yeah.
So I could imagine, like, if you lose a crown, maybe there's like a hole there, or maybe there was some infection or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was like pus or some red swelling or something.
Don't know.
I don't know. Something which made it look really something you would have found on rotten.com back in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Goregallery.com.
That's right. Yeah, those kind of gory websites.
The only picture that sticks out, and if you don't know what we're talking about, it was an infamous, I think it might even still be around, an infamous website back in the 90s. It was the one where, when you first got on the internet, all of your friends are like, "Have you gone to rotten.com?"
Yes, I remember.
It was the depository for gory and just crazy wild, a lot of like police photos and stuff like that, and dead bodies. It was, but the one picture that I still remember vividly is a guy with a hard dick, quite a large hard dick,
right,
and a big parrot is perched on it. So it's not even gory or like gross. It's a bit weird.
Oh my god!
But it was just like, wow, okay. But all the rest is just a blurry, gory mess in my mind. But that one picture is still very vivid.
Put it up on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm sure I can make it relate somehow. There's probably a parrot. Oh, actually, Larry gets a boner in the next episode. So there you go.
He does. Perfect.
From a dog. So, this is from a parrot. So this, it's kind of connected.
And the very first episode was called The Pants Tent. So
That's
it
true.
looked like you had a boner. So there's the connection.
This is the parrot tent.
And then we got to find an episode with a parrot in it, and we've come full circle.
Exactly.
So they arrive at the Greens' house for dinner as Larry is talking to some Russian relatives at the funkhouses. The wife is translating English to her husband. Larry asks why the man, so I didn't get the man's name, but I'll just call him husband. Larry says why husband is barefoot. He says it's more comfortable. So he doesn't wear shoes. He doesn't wear shoes in LA. That's a bit awkward. Do you think like he walks around bare feet? Or do you think maybe he wears shoes on the outside, like outside the house, and then when he's in the house he just takes them off?
I think it's that. I mean, I wear shoes when I'm out and about, but when I'm home I take them off, unless it's cold or something.
Yeah.
So I think for him it's just, a level. It's a matter of comfort. It's like I'm inside, I don't need to wear shoes.
Yeah, but you think he'd wear like socks or something at least?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a visitor at someone's house, I would keep my shoes on, unless it was like really hot or, I don't know, growing up in Queensland, shoes off everywhere, walking to the shops was pretty normal.
Yeah.
But if I was visiting someone's house from another country, I'd keep my shoes on and just be a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, but that's just weird, like, because a lot of people have a rule where you got to take your shoes off, not to be in the house, which is fair. But I don't know, like, but also taking your socks off as well. Yeah, like that's pretty fucked. Like, I wouldn't want your ugly, dirty feet on my floor.
I think the idea with this character is just that he's like, he just doesn't give a fuck.
No,
he's just going to do his thing, and who cares?
Yep.
And if you don't like it, fuck you. Like, he just, as we see in this scene, he just reaches for Larry's glasses because he's so insistent. Most people would say, "Hey, can I try your glasses on?" "Oh no, I don't want you to do that." And then they would respect that. But he's just, he's not listening to that. He just wants to do it. I just think he doesn't care.
He's very impulsive.
Yeah, he just like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and fuck you if you don't like it.
Yeah. And speaking of that, he asks about Larry's glasses and where he got them, and if he can try them on for a minute. And like you said, normal people would be like, no, it's all good. Or I'll tell you what store it is. Yeah, cool, thanks. But it's funny because husband wasn't even wearing glasses.
No.
Which is really weird.
No, maybe he wears contacts or something.
Who knows? He hesitates as the husband persists, and he gets to the point where he actually tries to grab the glasses off Larry's head, and Larry gets upset.
Yeah.
And the Russians walk off. Jeff walks up to him to see what happened, and Larry explains he tried grabbing the glasses off him, which is fucked up. He asks where Ted and Mary are, because apparently they were meant to come to the dinner, but they couldn't attend. Larry sits down, so in this part of the scene, Larry sits down on the recliner, on the chair, and pats Oscar, the German Shepherd from last season. Larry has a boner as he gets up. So Larry's, he's patting the dog and all that stuff, and then Oscar walks off. Larry gets up and he's got an erection, and Susie is preparing dinner and is looking right at him, and she's in shock.
She's staring daggers right at him.
Staring daggers, yeah.
Yeah, she thinks that, I don't know, Larry's fiddling with the dog or using the dog to fiddle with himself.
Or he's getting aroused.
Yeah, there's some, there's some sexual element there.
Yeah.
And I mean, the dog's head, the way it's shot is the dog's head is kind of in his crotch.
What I was thinking was, I thought maybe the dog was licking around the crotch.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like maybe around it or something. I don't know. That's the thing I got. But when I rewatched it again, I realized Larry was just, I don't know.
Larry was sitting down and the dog's head was sort of at his crotch level.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fully into his crotch.
No.
But it was kind of near it. Maybe there was just a bit of contact or something. I don't know. I guess it's intentionally vague because even a show like Curb, which, pushes boundaries and goes to some pretty weird and twisted places, intentionally getting aroused by a dog licking your dick and balls is like, I don't think that they would do that.
I don't think
that explicitly. It is a bit vague.
They wouldn't even put that in the script. Like,
it's a bit too crude as well.
Very,
the fact that it's sort of suggested, but you're not really sure.
Yeah.
And that tension that Larry's like, no, I didn't do that, but everyone thinks he did. That's their style.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Larry, I don't know, maybe he was just patting the dog, enjoying it, and then, I don't know, maybe he had a thought.
Could be a coincidence.
Who
knows?
Or maybe he was like a 14-year-old boy just getting boners. Randomly.
Yeah, it happens.
When we were teenagers, under the desk.
Just pop off.
The school bell, the school bell would go and you'd have like half an erection. You're like, oh.
Yeah, you're on the bus or something and it pulls up to school and you're like, oh. Yeah, very inconvenient.
Get down, yep.
No, you get off first, I'm just going to sit here and enjoy this view of the bus bay for a bit longer.
I'll enjoy the smell of like
exhaust
breakfast.
fumes. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to sit. Just want to relax. I've got a stressful day at school.
Yeah.
Just need to chill out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Bit of mindfulness, and then I'll meet you at school.
I've got double period of physical education, so very stressful.
Exactly. Have you got a boner? Yes.
Yes, I do. Now shut the fuck up. They all sit down for dinner as Larry is staring at husband's bare feet. Jeff's daughter Sammy tells Larry that he should take off his shoes so they are twins.
It's such a little kid thing to say.
It is, so they're twins. And she starts removing one of Larry's shoes. Marty Funkhauser recommends a toothbrush to remove the plaque that Larry has. And Larry says, how do you know about that? He says that his cousin's hygienist told him about Larry's teeth issue. And Larry downplays it as he is getting upset, and the Russian husband is laughing at Larry's expense. Larry claims that the patient-hygienist confidentiality... he claims that there's confidentiality, like lawyer-client privilege for patients and dentists and hygienists, as the table argues about the validity of the confidentiality. Larry justifies his cleaning hygiene. Marty says a weatherman gave him a golf trick, and he's about to explain what it is as Sammy screams. She's in the other room. They'll wander over to her to make sure if she's okay, and she picks up Larry's tooth picture from his jacket. So she actually went into his jacket outside, that loose jacket, and went to grab the photo and then screamed.
And it was in an envelope as well.
Yeah, so it must have been full of plaque as well.
Yeah.
So it would have been like a really nasty, like all that hardened crust on his teeth.
Gross.
Very, very gross. And Cheryl's like, why the hell did you bring that photo in? What's wrong with you? And he's like, I just left it in my jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those Larryisms.
Yeah, a lot going on in this scene. After pictures found, they're all getting up Larry, asking, why'd you bring it in here? You've traumatized her. And then that kind of ends the dinner party.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah.
And Larry says, I got to go get my sneaker. And Susan's like, fuck your sneaker.
Yeah,
get
just
lost.
like, get out, you've traumatized my daughter.
Yeah, and then Larry walks off with one shoe. And he tries to tell Cheryl, and Cheryl's like, no, let's just go. Don't worry about it.
This is one of those situations where, as each scene or scenario plays out, every time Larry's involved, there's a bit of whiplash for me. Like in the first scene where he's at the doctor's, and he mentions good lymphoma, I'm like, nah, Larry, you're on the bad. Like you've started this on a bad, what's the word? Like in a bad way.
This isn't
but
right
now this scene, I'm like, Larry didn't do anything wrong. Like
no.
He can bring a picture in. Like your daughter shouldn't be going through other people's stuff or just ripping shoes off. Like
exactly.
Your daughter's being a little turd.
And Larry just went to the dentist that day.
Yeah.
So if anything, he could just say, I just went to the dentist and I got my photo.
Yeah, and he does. He explains. He's like, the dentist took a picture for insurance purposes. Why is she going through my stuff? Like he raises valid points.
Valid
and
points,
no one even acknowledges it. He's just sort of complaining, and they're all concerned about, like, fair enough, she's a bit upset, comfort her, that's fine.
Yeah.
But also, like, tell her not to go through people's shit.
Yeah, I know, Susie and Jeff. That's bad parenting, guys.
I was surprised as well when they were all debating about how ethical, or whether, as you said, the validity of hygienist-patient confidentiality. Susie actually sticks up for Larry.
She does.
She actually says, it might not be illegal, but it's unethical. I'm like, wow, you've actually, normally you hate Larry.
Yeah.
Any chance to bring him down, you would, but
Sounds like she does have some moral fiber.
Yeah, she's, she knows what she thinks is right and wrong.
I feel like maybe morally or in terms of family, like Susie is a good person in that regard, but I think the way she tries to express it is very angry, very aggressive. But yeah, I think maybe she's a good-hearted person.
Yeah, I don't think she's a bad person. She just doesn't have much tact at dealing with problems and is very direct.
Yeah,
to the point where it's a detriment.
Yeah,
actually creates more problems or exacerbates an existing problem. She's just not very good. I think Cheryl's a bit, Cheryl's similar in that, she wants everyone to be okay. She's nice, but she's got better people skills and she knows how to negotiate things and sort of placate people. She's just got better interpersonal skills.
Yeah, she's the extrovert in the introvert-extrovert relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. And Susie as well. Whereas Jeff is a bit more quieter as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit more chill. Yeah. Back home, Larry is on the couch in the bedroom watching TV as Larry complains about the hygienist to Cheryl. Cheryl is in the ensuite comparing a hooker telling everyone... Oh, as he compares the dentist telling everyone about his plaque to a hooker telling everyone his penis size. Yeah. It's the same thing.
It's like you pay $300 for a prostitute and she tells everyone that you've got a small penis. She's like, I don't know. And then he's like, I don't have a small penis though.
I don't have a small penis though.
Immediately he gets defensive and it's like, well, no one is saying that you have to... This is coming from you.
He wasn't the one with the paragon.com.
Yeah, exactly.
That wasn't a young Larry David.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Cheryl says her stomach is killing her and she says that Susie's cooking is always awful and she always gets funny after eating it. Larry watches the weather. The weatherman says that there are showers for tomorrow. Jeff calls Larry. Jeff says that he doesn't want to play in the testimonial as he says he wants to take care of Susie and Sammy after what happened last night.
Decision doesn't seem like Jeff's.
No, that's Susie's for sure.
Yeah, he's framing it as his decision.
You're staying home and looking after Sammy.
Exactly.
That's what Susie said.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah,
There's
and then
nothing you can fucking do about it.
And then Jeff, to save face, is pretending that it was his decision. But
No, it definitely wasn't him. Yeah, you can kind of tell. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I can't come.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I've got a baby shower.
Yeah.
To go to.
Yeah.
My wife's second cousin.
They thought it was going to rain anyway, so he would have decided that anyway, I think. But
But we find out that it doesn't rain the next day. It's a nice day. Later on in the scene, it's in the middle of the night. And Larry wakes up to go pee, and he falls in the toilet. Cheryl apologizes for leaving the seat up, and Larry complains about being wet and having a sore back. So Cheryl left the seat up and in the dark. He didn't even have the energy just to turn on the light. He just wants to jump straight down.
That's why he likes peeing sitting down, because he doesn't need to turning the light on. I mean, how hard is that? The light switch will be just next to the door. All you need to do is reach out as you walk through the door and flick a switch. Like it's not an inconvenience.
Yeah, he likes peeing when he's half asleep.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it.
Yeah, but just maybe the light for him is not so much the effort that you have to go to.
Yeah.
But just, a light being turned on when you're half asleep is a bit much.
It's a bit much, yeah. It's like, because you've been in darkness for so many hours and then suddenly you get a light and it's like, boom.
Yeah.
The next morning, Larry wakes up with a sore back from that night. He opens the curtain and the weather is sunny to his surprise. Cheryl is still in bed. Larry suspects this is where his conspiracy theory begins. Larry suspects that the weatherman calls the wrong weather so he can have the golf course to himself. He doesn't trust the man because of this and he decides to go to the golf course to investigate. Larry is using a cane as he heads towards the green. He spots his friend Chuck and asks about how the course is looking. Chuck says that it's wide open and hardly anyone is out there. Chuck spots the weatherman and Dr. Funkhauser, the dentist, playing together, and Larry hobbles his way over. He goes up to him and implies that the weatherman is up to no good and claims that he predicts to have the course to himself, which the weatherman strongly denies. And at this point, even the weatherman's like, no, don't do that. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I'm a meteorologist, man.
Yeah.
I just predict weather patterns.
He's a bit insulted by Larry just calling him a weatherman. He's like, I'm an actual meteorologist. Like, I know what I'm talking about. And then I like how, just to sort of patronize Larry, he starts explaining how the weather works. He's like, a low pressure system.
Low pressure system coming in from the south.
And then he's my favorite line of the episode when he's like, and then the Gulf Stream moves across, and Larry's like, oh yeah, Gulf Stream. Well, there's a Gulf Stream of bullshit coming out of your mouth right
out of your mouth right now. Larry just doesn't want a bar of it.
No.
He's not happy. Larry loves his golf, and whenever that's threatened or compromised, he doesn't take no for an answer, does he? Yeah, but I think most weather forecasters on TV are meteorologists.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. I think pretty much all of them. I think you have to be a meteorologist to do that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's a good thing. So he has actually studied for it. He's not just like reading.
Yeah, he's not just a charming man reading weather. He knows what he's talking about.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Larry asked Dr. Funkhauser not to roll up his sleeve anymore and not to take pictures of his mouth as he walks off. So, as well as the grievances with the weatherman, he goes to Dr. Funkhauser and tells him his grievances. Look at the elastic on my shirt.
I'm going to say, because it happens to me, because Larry's got a sore back, I've had injuries before, and they always sort of dampen your mood or make it harder to just be happy through the day. Like they're just, they're painful and annoying and frustrating. But a sore back, to me is the worst.
It's debilitating.
Yeah, and it just fucks with your mental health. You just feel, even if you have every reason to be chirpy and having a great day, if you've got even a slightly sore back, it just fucks everything.
It does. And because also, you struggle to walk.
Yeah.
Walking's painful. Getting up is painful.
Yeah.
Lying down can be painful. Like any movement or any position you're in is painful.
Yeah, and it just sours everything.
It does. Yeah.
Especially your mood. So I'm going to say that, Larry is genuinely paranoid or, conspiratorial about the weatherman and his agenda. But I reckon the sore back is like adding to that.
Yeah.
Because he just goes off on it. He's just like ranting like a lunatic in the middle of the golf course. And they're just like, what? Like,
yeah, what are you doing, Larry?
Yeah, like you're embarrassing yourself.
Yeah, you're being an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was one of the only times I think we've seen so far in the series where Larry just goes off.
Yeah, like he does rant.
Off.
He does rant a bit, but it's sort of it never goes to like lunatic level.
No,
but
this was lunatic.
Yeah, and I think the visual as well kind of adds a bit of lunacy to it. The fact that he's in a cane yelling at two randoms in the middle of a golf course. It's just, it's an odd setting.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just at a party sort of having a bit of a rant at Cheryl about something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I think, unless there is a scene I can't remember, I think it's Larry at his most just wacky, not wacky, but just lunatic and paranoid and just angry.
Yeah.
Like just unhinged. He almost seems unhinged.
Yeah, he is unhinged. Yeah. And it's really weird because in LA it doesn't rain often.
No.
It's mostly sunny. And, even if it does rain, it's like a bit of precipitation.
Yeah.
But to have like a rainy day in LA, it's pretty unlucky.
And, you've got to remember as well, like even if Larry, I mean, mind you, he screwed his back up. But if he didn't screw his back up, I think he would have gone down to the golf course anyway. He could have just played golf.
Yeah.
He could have just gone, the weatherman was wrong. I'm going to go play golf.
Nah.
He had to...
He had to get to the bottom of the weatherman's tricks.
He couldn't have played golf if he chose to because of his back. But if the back thing didn't occur, he could have just given up on his stupid plan to go down and, confront the weatherman and just played around to golf.
Yeah.
Be thankful that the weatherman was wrong and go play golf.
And go play golf. But no, but you're right. The back exacerbated him and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, you're right. If he had the sore back, things would have turned out a bit differently.
Yeah.
Possibly. But it wouldn't have been as funny.
No. Obviously, Larry opening the windows going, it's not raining. I'm going to go play golf. That's not very funny.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I was supposed to play today.
Really?
And Jeff called me last night and canceled because of your weather report about thunder showers.
You made a mistake, so what? Come on. Oh, I said it was going to be thunder showers?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's forecast, folks, I'm sorry to say it, it is rain, thunder showers, the big ones, folks, all day.
Oops.
Whoop.
Yeah, okay. Nice to see you.
Good Too bad for me.
Take care.
Too bad for me.
I don't quite get your point.
All right, weatherman, I'm going to tell you my point. I've got a sneaking suspicion that you're predicting rain to clear the golf course for yourself.
Larry is walking past the golf, he walked through the golf course and past the country, like the country clubhouse, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
He's at the front of it as he's walking past, and Ted Danson arrives and runs into Larry. Larry explains the toilet seat situation, which humors Ted. You can kind of see he's kind of like, he's cracked a bit of a smile. He's like, oh yeah, that's a bit interesting.
Yeah, and then Larry says he's got a sore back, and then Ted goes, I'm sorry I laughed at you. Sorry I laughed at you or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Ted says that he and Mary will have decided, because Larry and Cheryl were supposed to look after Ted and Mary's dog because they're going away for a trip. But Ted says that him and Mary will board their dog, so put him in a kennel. Larry's like a kennel away, right? While they go away, because Larry wanted to look after the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Larry does, that kind of feeds into Larry's obsession with dogs, because there's been a couple of episodes, him and Oscar, the German Shepherd, they had a bit of a bonding relationship in the episode. The corpse sniffing, he sniffed out the bra. Was it the bra under the restaurant?
Yeah.
That was Oscar?
Yeah. That's true.
So they got a bit of a bond.
Yeah.
Larry and Oscar.
Yeah. And Larry as well, I think, probably wants to... I think he's still got a bit of a crush on Mary Steenburgen from, what was that, season 1?
Season 1, all the way back.
So he probably thinks, maybe Mary will... Because he's sort of in their bad books a bit after the last few seasons.
After the restaurant,
After the restaurant, so, maybe he thinks it'll win back a bit of hand with them or something like that.
Yeah, especially with Mary. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Larry asks if Ted talked to Susie recently and if he knows about last night's events, and Ted tries to skirt around it. He's like, oh, no, and he leaves. But we find out that Susie did talk to Ted.
And they do that staring thing.
Yeah, that's right. They stare each other down.
Yeah, they're sort of... It's almost like Bold and the Beautiful staring, where it's just like this intense, like, they're raising their eyebrows at each other and staring at each other.
They're kind of eyeing each other off.
Yeah.
To see who... It's like an intense staring contest.
Yeah, it's like an extended eye off.
Oh, eye off.
Eye off.
I like it. Larry arrives at Jeff's later on to get his sneaker. Jeff asks what happened to Larry, because he's got the cane, obviously, and he explains the story, that he pees sitting down. They argue about peeing sitting down and standing up. Like Jeff's like, why don't you just stand up?
Yep.
Susie tells Sammy to close the door and stay upstairs because of Larry.
I like how Larry goes, would you rather sit down and not piss on your pants or stand up and piss on your pants? And Jeff is like, why do you assume that I piss on my pants?
Yeah, it's
no one piss, like whether you're sitting down or standing up, you shouldn't be pissing on your pants.
Yeah,
that's not the trade-off here, Larry.
No, most dudes stand up and piss.
Yeah,
and
they
you
don't
piss on your pants.
No,
unless you're like 2 and you're learning how to use a urinal.
Yeah, or just have very bad aim. But
your dick is like on a 180-degree angle.
I was going to say,
it's like a 90-degree angle.
The direction, even if you point straight down, the direction of your pee is going away from your pants. Like that's very hard to pee on your pants.
It's harder to pee on your pants than it is to pee
and
in
Jeff's
the
just
urinal.
like, what? Like, what's that got to do with anything?
I know, you got to really make an effort to do that.
Yeah.
Hey? And I love how Susie goes into like full paranoid helicopter parent mode. She's like, Sammy, go upstairs and close the door.
Yeah, you can hear Larry hears a voice from upstairs, like saying, go in your room and don't come out.
Like he's some,
pervert or...
Yeah. Marty is on the couch. Marty is there as well. And Larry explains the conspiracy and accuses Marty of not giving him that golf tip because he was about to do it before the Sammy incident. Marty says the weatherman told him not to give him a tip. So the weatherman, it sounds like that Funkhauser, that Marty and the weatherman have since spoken.
Yep.
And the weatherman has directly said to Marty, do not tell Larry this trick.
Yeah,
this guy.
I can imagine Marty, talking to the weatherman because they're both, they're close, saying, oh yeah, I was at this dinner party last night and I was talking to Larry about your golf tip and I didn't give it to him. Like I can imagine him explaining the scenario. And then after Larry came to the golf course, the weatherman calling Marty and saying, hey, have you told him that golf tip yet? No, don't. I don't want him. I don't want him to have it because
this is what happened.
He just embarrassed me on the golf course and accused me of lying to millions of people and insulted my profession. Fuck him.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it is. And that's fair. Like,
totally.
The weatherman, that is a very valid reason to do that. And it sounds like the weatherman's a good golfer too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a couple of nice tips. Susie comes down the stairs. Larry tells her about Cheryl's sickness and, she always gets sick off your food. And if she happened to speak to Ted Danson. And Susie says yes.
And they do a stare-off as well.
They do a stare-off as well. And he implies that she was the reason for Larry not looking after Ted's dog after what Susie witnessed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Susie's like, yeah, I spoke to them.
Yeah, there's a lot of suggestion in the last few scenes.
Yeah, so Ted and Mary were worried that Larry might do something to their dog.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be that nice. Larry, at the end of this scene, Larry asks Marty if Marty's dad, Leo, has the good Hodgkins. As Susie comes down, he asks Susie to go get his sneaker.
Yep.
So she goes up to get it. And while she's up there grabbing that, Larry asks Marty if his dad has the good Hodgkins. And Marty's just like... just death staring him.
Yep.
Susie comes down with Larry's mangled shoe. So Oscar ate the shoe. Oscar ate the shoe. Pretty much. The dog ate your homework. The dog ate the shoe. Yeah. So, a lot of shit happened in that scene.
Came from my sneaker.
All right. What happened to you?
I fell in the toilet.
How'd you fall in the toilet?
I went to go pee and the seat was up.
What does that have to do with you?
I pee sitting down.
You pee sitting down?
Yeah. Have you ever tried it?
No.
It's more comfortable. When you get up during the night, you don't have to turn the light on and wake up. And you get to read.
What are you reading?
I'm reading a lot of stuff.
Larry is back at home watching the weatherman who says tomorrow will be sunny, but from Saturday night, I think around midnight, it'll start raining.
Yep.
At the testimonial, they sign in, the next day, at the golf testimonial, they sign in as Dr. Funkhauser says Larry is too sophisticated for wearing a name tag. Because Larry's like, I don't want to wear a name tag. Why am I wearing a name tag?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those situations where I agree with Larry. Like, if you're at like a networking event or an event where you don't know anyone and name tags are helpful because you meeting and greeting is part of the whole rigmarole, I get it. But if you're at an event where most people know each other because it's personal, like there's a lot of family and obviously a lot of family friends, yeah, I agree with Larry that name tags are maybe a bit unnecessary. But the fact that he just harps on and on about it, that's when it's just like, your point is valid, but also just go with it.
Yeah.
Or just don't wear a name tag and shut up. or wear a name tag. You know, like just stop going on and on and on about it.
When you know most people there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense you don't need a name tag. But you're right. If everyone else is doing it, just go along with it, eh?
Yeah.
Be a good sport, Larry.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, though, he is concerned about the glue on the name tag.
That's right.
To his suede jacket.
Sticking to his suede jacket. That's right. And and that adds into Dr. Funkhouse's impression of Larry. Like, he's so obsessed with his clothing.
Yeah.
I love how a theme in Curb is, especially with Larry, is when Larry does one thing to someone and it gives them an impression, and then the next scene he'll do something else related to it, and it kind of reinforces the idea of Larry.
Yeah, Larry rarely ever changes the mind of initial impressions.
No.
You know, or changes the initial impression that people have. It's usually either maintains it or exaggerates it.
Exaggerates it,
You know?
yeah. It just feeds into their thoughts about him. Yeah, that's what I love. And it's like almost he can't be redeemed at that point.
Yeah, no, he can't. He just digs himself further into holes, accidentally sometimes, incidentally sometimes. You know, it's always just fucking things up more for himself.
Always.
I do like when Dr. Funkhauser walks away, you know, after he gets Larry's like, let's just go inside and have dinner. He kind of like buries the hatchet a bit. You know, let's just have a nice time tonight. And Larry's like, okay, fine. And he puts a name tag on. But as he's walking away, Dr. Funkhauser under his breath, he's like, not even nice suede anyway. Kinda, like a little dig at Larry.
Yeah, he's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, because Larry's like saying, it's really nice suede. And Dr. Funkhauser's like,
nah,
it's not that good. Yeah.
Looks like a cheap shirt, man.
Yeah.
They arrive at their table as Larry is about to switch tags, like not the name tags, the table, you know, like those table
place cards.
The place cards, yes, that's what they are. Thank you. As an older couple says that this is their seat. Because Larry was about to sit with Jeff and Susie, I think.
Yeah.
Was it Jeff and Susie?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah, he comes over, Jeff and Susie are already sitting down. And
he goes to swap the name tags from one table to the other.
Yeah.
But then the old lady says, oh, that's my seat.
Susie surprised me in this scene again. I thought she would be like, well, you can't sit with her. I thought she would want Larry to sit at another table. But she's like, yeah, just go over there and swap them. Like maybe she wants to talk to Cheryl.
Yeah,
or something.
That's
I don't
what
know.
it is. Yeah, she wants to talk to Cheryl. Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes in this episode, she hates Larry. She thinks that the dog's giving him blowjobs, and then but then she's also on his side at the dinner party.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's just it's unpredictable.
It's a bit odd, but it goes with with the way the acting works on Curb. They've got like it's retro scripting, so they get like a 5-page summary of it, like a 5-page summary of the episode or something, or I think like the scene or something.
Yeah. And
then there's an outline. And it's like, hey, you guys fill it in. So maybe whatever the actor, like Susie, the actress, was feeling at the time, maybe she felt like she wanted to kind of help Larry out. I don't know, or maybe her intention was to talk to Cheryl. It depends, because I have noticed that as well. Like, I think it depends in the moment what the actors want to do.
Yeah.
And just go with it.
True.
So, yeah. I mean, she could have said, you're a fucking asshole, Larry. You're not sitting next to us.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been funny.
Yeah, or just double down and go, well, you can't sit with us. Like, the place cards are the place cards. Too bad, sort of thing.
Yeah. So the old lady tells Larry about his plaque and recommends a good toothbrush. So even she knows about the plaque. It's basically gone around the entire
Larry's plaque is the talk of the town.
The talk of the
talk of the golf.
The
club?
talk of the clubhouse. I
talk
guess.
of the testimonial.
Yes. Larry approaches the weatherman, Skip, his name is, and asks why he told Marty not to give him a tip. And Larry once again roasts him for the conspiracy. Marty takes the stage to make a speech, and Larry is sitting not at the table with the Russian couple, but kind of at the table, but the Russian couple are behind him, as the wife is translating to the husband. The dental hygienist from the first scene is licking her lips towards Larry, so we can see that she's pretty keen. As he turns and the tag leaves glue on his jacket as he tries to take it off. He asks the Russians to be quiet, and they tell him to leave them alone and to shut his plaque-filled mouth up. And if you can
that's a good burn. That's a got him.
That's a great burn, yeah.
You got him.
You got him, you plaque-filled mouth.
Fucking got him.
Yeah. It's so good. And I love how it the volume just keeps increasing. It's like a whisper, and then it starts to become like a bit louder, and then it gets to like really audible in the room. They get louder, and Larry grabs the hat from the man. And as he grabs the hat, he does his back in again. So Larry, he stretched and his back was still out because his back was feeling a bit better that day.
Yeah.
And then just you hear, and he's like,
yep.
Shit, I'm back. And he struggles to stand up. After the speech for Mr. Funkhauser, who is suffering from Hodgkin's, everyone stands up to give him a standing ovation. as after his speech, and everyone's encouraging Larry to stand up. And I love how it cuts to different people like around the room, and everyone's like, "Stand up, Larry, stand up." Everyone's like kind of using the hand motion to like lift, and Larry's like, "I can't.
Yeah.
I can't." It's like, I don't want to. I
And
can't.
he even tries, but then he sits back down.
He sits back down, and then people are just like looking at him like,
Yeah.
Marty's looking at him.
So rude.
Dr. Funkhauser's looking at him. Everyone's just like, rude.
So rude.
You're not involved in the standing ovation. Fucked up. And in the final scene, Larry is playing golf with Dr. Funkhauser as it's raining very heavily.
Yep.
So there you go. And I think the rain came a little bit earlier.
I kind of did see the ending coming. I didn't figure it was the ending, but I figured that this scene would happen because at the testimonial, like you said, Larry does confront the weatherman again.
Yep.
And said, I'm gonna be out on that course tomorrow because I know you're lying again. And you kind of know that you're wrong, Larry. Like he's not a liar. It was just fine last weekend, but it's going to rain. And
Things
then
happen.
Yeah. And then it's raining.
And it's raining, and it's raining heavily. And Dr. Funkhauser's still playing with him, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
They just Larry
explained the situation to him.
I do respect Larry's commitment. He's like, I said I'm going to play, and I'm going to eat my even though I'm wrong and I have to eat my words, I'm still going to go out and play. It's like, good on you, Larry.
Good on you, Larry.
Yeah.
So maybe he explained to Dr. Funkhauser what happened.
Yeah.
And he kind of forgave him.
Maybe, because Larry is a bit upset with the weatherman thinking that, he lies about the weather to clear the golf course so he's got an easier game. It's all his. Maybe Larry's like, well, this is my only opportunity to have a clear golf course, because no one else will come out and play.
Yeah.
So that's,
So why not?
that's obviously a thing
Yeah.
that's important to golfers or, like a luxury for golfers. If they've got a clear golf course, it's like, great, it's all
Yeah.
mine. Larry's like, well, this is my only opportunity, so I'll go out in the rain and do it.
I love the irony of that. I love the fact that Larry thinks that the weatherman manipulates like the weather forecast to get the golf course to himself on a sunny day.
Yeah.
But then Larry, it rains, but he's happy he's got the golf course to himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's on a rainy day. It's Larry.
It works on a few different levels.
A few psychotic levels, yes,
Yeah.
it does. And that was the weatherman. So out of 5 Larrys, I give this one 4 out of 5. I liked it like you.
Yeah, I give this one 4.5 out of 5.
Lovely. Yeah,
I
great
thought
episode.
this was the strongest episode of the season so far.
Yep. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts in this episode. Really liked it. It all came together really well. Sometimes, when shows like this, when they try and have a complicated episode with a lot of moving parts, sometimes it doesn't quite come together. Some things fall off a bit, but I thought everything just coalesced very nicely at the end.
Yeah.
Very satisfying, very funny. The good Hodgkins is just like, oh,
that's
that's
a
a big just like Larry, just
Yeah,
no,
no.
don't say that. That's
a
not a
bit
thing.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, Larry is sort of escalating his paranoia to the point where he's happy to go to a golf course and like rant and rave like a lunatic.
That's great.
That's probably Larry at his most unhinged so far.
That's a side of Larry we haven't seen yet.
No. So yeah, I can't really fault this episode.
Yeah, no,
Really
it's
good.
good. It's a very good episode. I enjoyed that one a lot.
They sort of, they do it often, but they're still finding topics and situations that you would consider a bit risque, like calling a form of cancer good.
Like mild bestiality.
Yeah, like
I guess.
implied bestiality.
Implied bestiality, yeah.
Those are topics that are inherently a bit controversial or a bit like taboo.
Extremely taboo.
But the fact that they go there without being too gross about it, or
not being too crude or crass about it.
Is good writing, and the fact, and then they incorporate 2 of those sort of topics in one episode, and it works. It doesn't feel too crammed.
Yeah.
Is just really good.
And also,
I really liked it.
and also with the excellent improv by the cast as well.
Yes.
Talented cast.
Totally.
Everyone's terrific on the show. Everyone's terrific. Yeah, it's very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to be back next week for episode 5, The 5 Wood. We hope you enjoyed that episode. You can subscribe to Curbcast on your favourite platform, podcast platform, and you can give us, if you want, a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That helps us a lot. And you can also follow us on social media.
Yeah, that's right. Curbcast Pod is our handle on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit. We have an email address as well, curbcastpod@gmail.com, if you want to say hello. And finally, we do have a Facebook group called Curb Your Enthusiasms, if you want to join a bunch of Curb fans on Facebook talking about Curb and having a bit of fun. All those links are in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very growing channel as well.
That's right. I think we're up to about 3,500 members. And
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of fun, so check it out.
Absolutely. My name's Ivan.
And I'm Stephen.
We'll catch you next week for another episode of Curbcast Season 4. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye. Thanks for listening. This podcast is part of Mishmash Media, an independent podcast network. Follow us on social media at Mishmash Media AU or support us on Patreon. All those links are in the show notes.